Hello everyone and welcome to Sustainable Truck of the Year 2024. My name is Fabio Zamaretti and today we're going to talk about sustainability, we're going to talk about awarding vehicles, and to guide you through this event I'm very glad to be here with my colleague Fabrizio Dalle Nogare.
Thank you very much, Fabio. A warm welcome also by my side. Yes, we will be talking about industrial vehicles, commercial vehicles, and also sustainability. Why all these concepts together? Because the Sustainable Truck of the Year Awards can make this possible.
The Sustainable Truck of the Year is a prestigious award, and this year we celebrate the edition number 8. The award is ruled and promoted by the historical media called Vadetorno together with Sustainable Truck&Van, which is the first international journalistic platform exclusively dedicated to low-impact commercial vehicles. And this European award aims to track the path towards sustainability within the industrial vehicle sector, an industry that is evolving very fast in response to the ever-growing needs of drivers, the increasing importance of safety, and the evolving services offered by transportation companies. And all of that, of course, goes together with increasingly advanced technology that must be environmental friendly as well as user friendly. Therefore, the focus of the analysis by the editorial committees of Vadetorno and Sustainable Truck&Van is on the development and optimization of those technologies.
That's right, Fabio. Tonight we'll hear over and over again about energy transition in the commercial vehicle sector. Such trend has been going on for a few years now, driven both by technological advances in the automotive sector and by the upcoming EU regulations that aim to reduce carbon footprints of trucks and vans. In this scenario, manufacturers are investing a lot and proposing very interesting solutions for zero-emission transportation. Speaking of electrification, for example, in some segments such as urban distribution, the adoption of zero-emission vehicles is already a reality. Other segments have a higher level of complexity and issues. Let's think, for instance, of range, availability of fast charging points, or even truck costs that are not so easy to address. On the other hand, several technological solutions are emerging as possible alternatives to the fossil fuels that continue to dominate the current market. The idea that the Sustainable Truck of the Year has always carried is that the concept of sustainability is quite broad and complex.
Actually, the award goes beyond recognizing the most ecological vehicle or just the greenest ones. The Sustainable Truck of the Year extends the concept of sustainability to the industrial product as commercial vehicles are, with a particular attention to application and technological solutions, and with a specific focus on connectivity, services, digitalization, consumption, and active and passive safety of the vehicles.
In short, so many aspects should be considered in order to promote a concrete and effective energy transition that might truly change the European trucking industry in the coming years. What should be noted, Fabio, is that the vehicles considered by the jury truly represent current excellence among trucks and vans already on the market or coming soon. In a year, 2024, that is shaping up to be crucial for the industry, with the new General Safety Regulation coming into force in July 2024. They will equip new vehicles with many more advanced safety systems. And with the first milestones of the path that Europe is developing and promoting to encourage decarbonization in road transport, which are getting closer. Now, let's take a look at the parameters taken into consideration by our jury, as well as the 3 categories of the Sustainable Truck of the Year Awards.
Exactly. You have to think that to evaluate the vehicles in competition, we consider 40 technical parameters divided in 6 macro groups, which are engine, transmission, safety, comfort, connectivity, and sustainability. And to better represent the market, the award is divided in 3 different categories. The first one is the category van, dedicated to vehicles with a gross weight up to 3.5 tons. Second category is called distribution, dedicated to vehicles with 2 or 3 axles with a gross weight up to 26 tons. Third category is called tractor, for vehicles up to 44 tons. So we are talking about the typical road tractors. But now, Fabrizio, just to recap what has been said so far, I would suggest to watch a short video. All right, we are getting closer to the topic moment of the day, that will be the awarding session. But before that, let's meet the first of our today's international guests.
Yes, Fabio, joining us from Berlin is Felipe Rodriguez, who is Director Heavy Duty Vehicle Program at ICCT, the International Council on Clean Transportation. Welcoming him, we first ask Felipe to explain what the ICCT is and what are its main targets.
Thank you for the invitation. The ICCT is a non-profit international organization. We focus on doing technical research to inform policymakers. The organization was founded about 20 years ago with the explicit objective of providing first-rate, unbiased research to environmental regulators working on transport. So back in the day, it was about air pollution. Now we're talking about electrification. So accordingly, going with the demands of the policymakers, we have a strong focus on electrification today, on decarbonization.
Mr. Rodriguez, according to ICCT studies and reports, would it be correct to follow also other paths such as biogas, biofuels, e-fuels in order to make energy transition in freight transportation more gradual and effective, especially in long-haul transportation?
So there is a common saying in some climate circles that it goes electrify everything and decarbonize the grid. And I think that represents as well our vision for the road freight sector. It is challenging for us to see the environmental and economic advantages of other solutions, specifically when thinking about those solutions being bridge solutions towards the goal of fully decarbonizing these vehicles. So I can touch on a few points. So first of all, when you look at the environmental performance, and let's talk about carbon emissions of electric vehicles, electric trucks across the spectrum of operation, we find that on a life cycle assessment, that is including the manufacturing emissions, the emissions produced during the usage of the vehicle, and at the end, the recycling of that vehicle. Battery electric trucks can reduce the carbon footprint of compared to diesel in about 63% today. That is using the average European grid that is not completely carbon free, right? If we would move to a completely carbon neutral grid, a decarbonized electricity grid, then the benefit would be about 90%. So there is a massive benefit that you can get already today from moving towards electrification. And the question is, well, can you get the same benefit if you go alternative pathways? And the answer is, it depends on where you put the box of your analysis. So if we look at the whole European system, biofuels, e-fuels, biogas, natural gas are definitely not going to be a solution for decarbonization. And that simply has to do with the fact that there is just not enough feedstock availability of these fuels to decarbonize the entire system. But if you look at very niche applications where there is already plentiful of supply of these advanced biofuels or biogas, then I think the users of those vehicles should be locally incentivized to do what they can do today, right? As we move towards an electric fleet, right, in the coming decades, there is an important role for combustion-powered trucks to play. Going from improving the aerodynamics of those vehicles to putting better tires, but also to improving the engine itself, right? So over the years, manufacturers have been gradually improving the efficiency of the combustion engine, of the diesel combustion engine. And there is still more that can be done, right? Because squeezing those few last percentage points in terms of efficiency, going a bit above the 50% threshold, that can definitely have an impact on reducing CO2 emissions, improving the TCO of those vehicles.
Thank you. Talking now about urban transportation, what are the major European cities doing in order to support the transition towards zero-emission commercial vehicles in terms, for example, of low-emission zones or public charging infrastructure? Is there any valuable case study worth mentioning?
I think we can look at what cities in the Netherlands are doing. So when it comes to the power of urban centers to drive electrification, we're talking about a specific use case that includes, of course, a mix of on-road highway transportation, right? Long distance, perhaps, or medium distance, with access to the city centers, right? And this is a very specific use case that cities can really drive forward with policies they implement. So when we look at the objectives that many Dutch cities have to really create zero-emission freight zones, I think this is fantastic, right? And I think this will be an important driver of the demand, as we're already seeing in some of the fleets that operate in the Netherlands. The Netherlands, a relatively small country, right, compared to others in the European Union, has definitely higher percentage of electric trucks in their fleets. And this is largely due to many of these policies, of course. So it is also not a surprise that Mylins, the charging operator resulting from the joint venture from the truck manufacturers, Traton, Daimler, and Volvo Group, has set shop in the Netherlands and has opened one of the first fast charging hubs dedicated only for trucks, right, in the town of Venlo.
Let's talk about policies now. Many people think that 2024 may be a crucial year to understand what EU institutions will decide when it comes to energy transition in freight transportation. Do you expect some big changes compared to what's been decided so far?
In 2023, there was a very important discussion around a regulation called the CO2 standards for heavy-duty vehicles, for trucks and buses. This regulation that exists already since a number of years sets targets for the truck manufacturers to reduce their CO2 emissions from their new vehicle fleet, right? So the targets that we have today are 15% reduction by 2025 and 30% reduction by 2030. Now, over the last year, what was mostly discussed in Brussels was the extension of these CO2 standards to cover more vehicle categories, right? Not only the big trucks, but also the smaller trucks, buses as well, trailers as well. of extending the targets out to 2040 and of increasing the stringency, the CO2 reduction targets that we have for each one of those years compared to what we have today. To give you an idea of, for those of you who don't know, the regulation would set a 90% CO2 reduction target for 2040, right? So just leaving that 10% margin for maybe some vehicles that are hard to decarbonize, but the rest of it needs to be zero emissions, zero tailpipe emissions, right? And this includes battery electric trucks, fuel cell electric trucks, and hydrogen combustion trucks. So those three solutions would be the only ones that would be allowed for 90% of those vehicles in 2040. So at the European level, this is the one policy to watch, and we're very confident that we're going to have a very good outcome from the negotiations. Now, there are a number of other policies that were already decided in 2023 and before that now go into the implementation stage at the national level, right, at the European member states. And the implementation of these policies is as important as the regulation itself setting the framework, right? So just to mention three of those, we have the Alternative Fuel Infrastructure Regulation, which sets targets for the individual member states of the European Union to deploy public charging infrastructure for light-duty and heavy-duty vehicles, right? Setting the minimum power and the minimum distance between these charging hubs. We also have now the implementation of the Eurovignette directive that sets carbon pricing as a component of the road tolls, right? Now, member states have also to translate that directive into national regulation. And there is one last element that it's going to be equally important, which is the implementation of the Renewable Energy Directive, the recast of the Renewable Energy Directive. And this is a very complicated regulation setting the targets for all kinds of fuels that we use in different modes. But one important element is how that renewable energy gets credited when used in transport. And we've seen some important developments in Germany, the Netherlands, for example, where truck operators who recharge their vehicles using green energy contracts, for example, can create revenue for their operations from the implementation of this Renewable Energy Directive. So again, a possibility there for improving the economics of these vehicles. And this is central, right, for the transition towards zero emission trucking, is that the economics need to work. And we're quite confident that this is going to happen in the transition phase out to 2030, for example. These policy instruments will be fundamental, right? But in 2030, our studies show that the total cost of ownership of battery electric trucks is going to be much superior, about 20 to 25% lower than that of a diesel truck. So hopefully by then the supply, the infrastructure will be in place to support the increased demand that is going to come from operators, just because, as you know, industry has tight margins, and anything that can reduce the TCO is going to be adopted.
Thank you very much, Felipe Rodriguez, for being with us, really.
Very well, Fabrizio, but now let's go to the heart of the event of today. So let's focus on the competing vehicles. As mentioned, again, the award is split in three different categories. And also this year, the editorial committees of Vadetorno and Sustainable Truck&Van had to scan the whole market in order to find and to select three finalists for each category. And after a deep journalistic analysis of each one of the competing vehicles, the winner have been chosen. So without any further delay, let's dive into it and let's find out the finalists for the first category, which will be the category van.
More than just a van model, it is a true urban freight icon. Now its 100% electric version is bidding to be the front runner in the light commercial vehicle segment. One of the vehicle's strong points is the innovative modular battery technology, with extended range of nearly 400 kilometers in the urban cycle. What's more, the increased capacity of the ePTO, as well as the dynamic digital display and multimedia screen that comes with the entire range. The winner of the Sustainable Truck of the Year 2024 in the van category is Iveco e-Daily.
All right, and today we have the great pleasure of having with us Mr. Massimiliano Perri, Business Director, Iveco Italian Market. Welcome and congratulations.
Thank you very much. Of course, I'm very proud to be here. From my side, I thank you, everybody, from my side, also from my team, for this special award, which in some ways underline the sustainability of our products, which is not only sustainable. We know that Daily is very famous because it's robust, safe, and versatile. The vehicle can be applied, can be used for any kind of application, thanks to its frame that can be adapted for any kind of application. Anyway, very thank you for this special award.
All right, Mr. Perri, we can certainly say that the Daily, since 1978, has been an icon in its segment. So what are the elements that must identify the electric version to maintain the market position?
Yeah, you said well, Iveco Daily is an icon of the commercial vehicle transport. No? What made this vehicle famous was its robustness. The vehicle is very versatile. The vehicle can be used in a kind of application. We know well that the vehicle has got a frame which can be in some way bodied with any kind of application. But it's not only cab, it's only van. And with this, thanks to this different height, different wheelbase, it can reach 19.6 cubic meters of capacity. Well, what we done when we started to, let's say, engineer the e-Daily was to replicate all these features that made the Daily famous into the electric version. That's why we have a very, we call them the twin of the thermic version, the e-Daily, because it can be used in any kind of application that currently the thermic version is used. That's why we have a version from 3.5 till 7.2 ton. We have a cab, van, we have a single wheel, twin wheel. So it's a very, very versatile vehicle. Of course, what's differ the thermic version to the electric version is the heart, which is the motor. No? We have a very powerful motor with 140 kilowatt. We have three different battery packs, 37 kilowatt each, which means that in the maximum application, it can reach 111 kilowatt, okay? Which means that the Daily can be used in a kind of application where today we put our thermic version. The vehicle can have an autonomy of 400 kilometers. Of course, we know Daily is famous because of its versatility, which means it can be used in a kind of application with any kind of body. For doing this, the vehicle can be equipped with three different PTO, okay? ePTO, we call it ePTO, up to 15 kilowatt. On top of this, we have also the motor for the very heavy emission application, like garbage collection. Anyway, the vehicle is ready for any kind of application. We know that anyway, it's not so easy, smooth transition from the thermic to the electric version, no? And we know that clients have got many doubts. For let's say, simplify this transition, what we put in place is a series of services which are in some way simplifying the life of our clients. For instance, we have a lot of services like e-routing, smart routing, and we have an agreement with Enelix where we are able even to supply to our clients the supply of energy. And to finish, last year we launched in Italy also the program called GATE. What does it mean, GATE? GATE is a new way of renting vehicles. And we have different packages up to the selling of the kilometers. That is, our clients can be billed at the end of the month of the exact number of kilometers done. Anyway, so I would say it's not only vehicle, it's service, and we are ready to put the vehicles in any kind of application.
Mr. Perry, last November we witnessed the international launch of the new daily range. How does the new e-daily fit into this market?
But of course, you know, the environment evolves, the norms evolves, the regulation evolves, and starting from the 1st of July 2024, all the vehicles must be equipped with the new, let's say, packages of devices to comply with the GSRB regulation. Daily, of course, has been, let's say, updated, okay, to answer this, to meet this new regulation. And in this taking this opportunity, we also, I would say, updated the product. That is, for instance, we introduced the fourth battery for the 7.2 version, which means we increase even further autonomy. We will introduce a new e-motor up to 50 kilowatts, so that is, the vehicle can be really put in any kind of application where today we put the thermic versions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Perry. Now it's truly time to officially hand over our Sustainable Truck of the Year 2024 award in the van category.
And here we are again, so now it's time to find out the finalists for the category distribution.
The truck chosen by our jury picks up the DNA of the now famous new generation, of which it is a part, as well as a true range of zero-emission vehicles for urban and regional transport. There is a wide choice in terms of configurations: 4x2 tractor, 4x2 and 6x2 rigid, with 5 power ratings available up to 480 horsepower. 3 cabs, day sleeper and sleeper high, as well as the promised range of nearly 500 kilometers. The winner of the Sustainable Truck of the Year 2024 in the distribution category is DAF XD Electric.
All right, and today we have the great pleasure to be here with Mr. Paolo Starace, the CEO of DAF Italy. So welcome and congratulations.
Thank you for the prize, and we are really proud to receive this award, which is the result of the effort the company has put in the transition, in the electric transition and in zero emission transition. So the XD is the right truck for the distribution. But we do have also the full range of vehicles that fit for the perfect, let's say, solution, zero-emission solution.
Mr. Starace, in the light of this award, we can say that DAF is one of the leading players on the market to offer zero-emission trucks. In your opinion, what is the possible evolution of the electric truck market, and what's going to change compared to the current industrial scenario?
Certo, questo è un mercato che prevediamo in fortissima crescita, uno sviluppo.
We think that this market will grow quite a lot, pushed on the one hand by the decarbonization targets of truck manufacturers in order to reduce CO2 emissions and the impact of fossil fuels on the planet.
Combustibili di origine fossile sul pianeta, e dall'altro obiettivi di carattere diverso, quindi sono qui i famosi obiettivi posti dalla Commissione Europea.
On the other hand, the well-known targets imposed by the EU Commission to achieve some given decarbonization steps. Manufacturers will have to pay significant penalties if they do not achieve these targets.
A spingere in questa direzione. Tra l'altro, mi lasci dire che
Then, several elements that made us push in this direction. Also, let me say, this snowball is getting bigger, with our customers who are moving towards greener transportation options, so even the demand is changing. In this scenario, some important challenges remain. For instance, in Italy, we'd need to more suitable charging stations. This can truly be a bottleneck, as well as the lack of significant government incentives that slow down the adoption of this technological solution.
in coda e quindi rallentano l'adozione di questo tipo di soluzioni di tecnologia.
Well, Mr. Starace, we can probably say that according to the transportation missions, the market will be ruled by this new technology. So what kind of solution DAF will offer to its clients?
Lo dicevamo prima, le nostre aspettative.
According to our expectations, in the next 5 to 10 years, at least 1/3 of the market will be made of zero-emission vehicles, then electric vehicles, and later on, hydrogen-powered vehicles.
Per poi arrivare a veicoli, diciamo così, a idrogeno.
DAF is ready with a complete vehicle offer, ranging from road tractors up to 2 or 3 axle riddigs, as well as the newborn DAF XB from 12 tons. These vehicles can be equipped with 2 to 5 battery packs, power ratings from 170 to 350 kilowatt, with the possibility to manage several transport missions, from urban transport to long-haul missions.
Ha il medio e lungo raggio. Questo grazie anche a degli strumenti che abbiamo sviluppato nel corso
About this, we have developed in-house a software capable to configure the route together with the customer, so to establish where charging points should be set in order to increase the vehicle range. Let me say, DAF is ready to face this challenge and provide our customers with electric vehicles.
Raccogliere la sfida, l'ha già raccolta, e quindi siamo pronti a offrire sempre di più questo tipo di veicoli ai nostri clienti.
And now it's time to celebrate these important results, so let's hand over the trophy for the Sustainable Truck of the Year 2024 category distribution.
Thank you. Thank you again on behalf of myself and the whole DAF team for this award. Really appreciate it.
All right, Fabrizio, we're almost at the end of the awarding session, and now it's time to find out the vehicles in competition for the category tractor.
What the jury awarded this year is a recognition of the very philosophy behind the truck model. Indeed, the truck we are about to award represents the result of an intelligent, focused, and continuous development process aimed at achieving the highest efficiency. Moreover, for the very first time in its more than 60-year history, this truck was able to break the 4 kilometers per liter threshold in the Vado e Torno super test, with a cab, the top-notch GX, built in compliance with a tailor-made concept that aims at improving the driver's well-being. The winner of the Sustainable Truck of the Year 2024 in the tractor category is MAN TGX 18520.
And today we have the great pleasure to be here with Mr. Marc Martinez, CEO of MAN Truck and Bus Italy. Welcome and congratulations for this great result.
Yes, thank you. I'm very honored and really proud to receive this award, and thank you all of the members of the jury for voting the MAN TGX 18520 Sustainable Truck of the Year 24. Only 2 years after winning the previous award, one of our vehicles is once again on the top step of the podium in the tractor category. This is the outcome of hard work done by our research engineers on the quality, the efficiency of the product, which has already won prestigious international and local awards.
As we all know, the history of MAN is pretty much related to the history of diesel. So what does it mean to you winning the Sustainable Truck Award with a diesel engine truck?
The diesel engine has been a part of our DNA since it was created by one of our engineers, Rudolf Diesel, in 1897 by MAN technicians and engineers also. Since then, we have constantly developed the product, the engine, to improve its performance for the power, for the torque, or the fuel saving. And also it will contribute to reduce the CO2 and to face with the norm Euro 6. So in addition of that, I would like to tell you that all our diesel engines are compatible with the biodiesel and the HVO.
Mr. Martinez, looking to the near future, what are the new developments that are arriving on the sustainable mobility front?
First of all, sustainability is one of our main commitments to offer the mobility solutions that respect the environment and allow our customers to be competitive on the market. During the year, we will begin the production of electric vehicles, and at the same time, we'll also start the first deliveries to the end customers. With a complete range of 100% electric heavy vehicles, we aim to be the reference player for those who want to start the ecological transition. Thanks to our 360-degree approach, we are able to offer operators the necessary consultancy to evaluate first the state of the vehicle fleet, the driving style, but also the routes and the roads, and also the depot used up to the charging station necessary to the transition to the electromobility. And then, thanks to our engineer, we develop a really efficient powertrain specific for the electric traction, by reducing the weight, by optimizing the dimension of the vehicles, and also thanks to the modularity of the battery packs, the new ETJX will offer also the possibility of recharging immediately with a mega charger standard. And the vehicle will offer also daily ranges between 600 to 800 kilometers. So we believe it our task to systematize, combine mobility and economy. So this is a challenge, yes, for the society, but we as MAN will contribute for that.
Well, now it's time to hand over officially the Sustainable Truck of the Year Award 2024 in the tractor category.
All right, it's now time to wrap up the event, but let me say that once again, also this year, the level of the competing vehicles was truly high. And the three winners have raised the bar to a higher level. It is also very clear that electric commercial vehicles are a true reality. And who knows, maybe next year we're gonna have some electric heavy-duty vehicles competing in the tractor category, or maybe it will be necessary for us to create a specific award category for these extraordinary vehicles. In any case, the future looks exciting and full of innovation.
Yes, Fabio, it really is a great time to be a truck and commercial vehicle enthusiast. There is great excitement, and I hope we were able to let that shine through this evening. Thank you to all the industry players who attended and enriched our ceremony.
Thanks to all of you for following the event, but keep on following us on the channels of Vadetorno and Sustainable Truck and Van. Thank you and goodbye.
Goodbye.